And welcome back, everyone. Eduardo's coat just fell off my bed for no reason.
That's such good timing.
It just slid off slowly, and like you didn't even touch it. It just kind of went yeah.
It was just like 3, 2, 1. As soon as you start, I'm gonna fall.
Yep. Oh, and she's got a really like tight-fitting cat suit, and we're like we're obviously not as stealthy as we wanted to be.
Clearly, that's what happens.
That's what happens.
When you're on a jetpack and you shoot someone, it slowly descends you so the jetpack's unharmed.
And it automatically turns off. I like how those guards are not like they were looking down at the ground trying to figure out what happened, instead of looking up at the really loud noise that James was making with the stupid jetpack.
And so, a ton of cars.
Yeah, we're in a car factory. Obviously, something we want to do. But we have to plant bombs and stuff too, so there's that.
So is there fuel on this one, or
nope?
Just unlimited.
There's never any fuel on these jetpacks. It's just the health.
Hey.
Yeah, your health is.
Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah, your health is connected to the jetpack, and so yeah, there is limited health, which is why you have these landing areas over here that you can get others from.
Like there.
Yeah.
And there.
Yeah. That's how you do it.
I thought there's a stand on them.
Oh yeah, that's built in. The designers thought ahead, which honestly, I mean, it's pretty smart that they did that, but it's just kind of a little weird. But
it's like Project Aura.
Yeah. You
don't realize how I'm geeking out so bad about that.
It is really cool. For those who don't know about it,
I want to explain it.
Fine, you explain.
I want to explain. Okay, so Project Aura is this internal development that Google is doing. Originally started out, if you ever saw the video on YouTube that was called Phone Blocks, that it's supposed to be a modular phone that is being developed, and the whole idea is that you have this exoskeleton design that you can fit in different components so that you essentially can build your own phone. And like if you wanted a better camera, instead of you having to buy a whole other phone, you just buy the component for the camera and swap it out for the one you had in your old phone then.
Right.
And it's a project that's being developed right now at Google. I think it used to be in partnership with Motorola. I don't think it is anymore, but I might be wrong. And it's really cool, and it's launching in Puerto Rico. Like, I think it's supposed to be now or soon. When we're filming this, which isn't that much later than when we're releasing this. So, and it's gonna be freaking awesome. And yeah, you take over because you know more technical stuff.
Well, Eduardo basically hit all the points that I was going to make anyway. So, yeah, that's what happens. And you know what? It'll honestly be really cool if that is a thing. Because I know for a lot of people, myself included, you wish you could upgrade your components in your phone. Like you could a computer or whatever. Yeah. And Eduardo actually made this point while we were talking about this in the car on the way over. And so it's like, if they could do it with phones, something really small and mobile and stuff, they could do it with tablets very easily. And that's what Eduardo was thinking of the other day or whatever. And it's like, you know what? Actually, honestly, yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah. That would be great.
Yeah, because how cool would it be if you had, like, if they sold them? Because I remember there was, when I was watching the interviews for this, and they had a board behind them where they were showing different sizes they were working on. They had like a mini, a medium, a large. And I'm like, just imagine if they did the same thing with tablets as well. So you could have the one that's like a 7-inch screen, or you can buy the exoskeleton for one that's 10 inches, and then it's completely modular then. You can buy like a 10-inch exoskeleton, put on like a 9-inch screen, and then have, half-inch speakers on each side, so you have like nice surround sound. Or if you don't care about that, you can instead have just a giant, nice, high-quality display.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. That's what it allows you to do. It allows you to create the phone that you actually want instead of having to conform to whatever the companies say that you want.
oh, you want that phone? Here, you have to buy this whole new thing.
Yeah.
For how many hundreds of dollars?
Yeah, because like the thing that I'm thinking of now is because I have the HTC One, and not the M8, I have the M7, the original HTC One, and it's starting to get to the point that I'm starting to feel the processor's not the most powerful anymore.
Yeah.
You know, considering now that that a lot of phones are coming out with 2 gigahertz or more quad-core processors, and mine still, I think it's a 1.7 quad-core. So I'm starting to feel that it's starting to get a little left out. My phone's starting to get a little slow and all that, which is understandable. And so like it would be really cool instead of me having to go and buy a whole new phone because I like the way it feels. I like how that it's a nice phone. But like
you're stuck with it.
Yeah,
you're stuck with whatever you got.
Yeah, and it would be so cool if I could just swap out the processor or something, or if the battery starts crapping out on me, just swap out the battery.
And that's, I mean, a lot of phones. Like I have a Galaxy S4. I want to get the S5, but when since I'm not at my upgrade for my contract yet, I can't do that. Unfortunately, but by the time I can get an upgrade, I'll have the S6. Now, the one thing I do like about Samsung is that they still have removable batteries.
Yeah.
I don't think they're ever going to get rid of those because...
Well, no. Google wants that to be gotten rid of because they issued a certain criteria of how they want their phones being made. Basically, just look at any of the Nexus phones, and that's kind of the way they want their phones.
I know, but if you think about it, why would that matter? It's a removable battery.
I think it's so then you can. It's so then it's a much tighter form factor. Even though they released a 6-inch phone, but that's neither here nor there.
Well,
but.
2 things. First off, it's not Google's device. I mean, yeah, the S4.
No, you're absolutely right.
Samsung series.
But it's the way it's so that I think it's more so that they can develop Android and decrease the fragmentation that's happened over the course of the years. Because the thing is that what happened after a while was that because there were so many devices with varying specs and everything. That it was difficult for them to develop Android the way they wanted it to. So they had to accommodate all the different types of That's why you had that's why what the tablets you had honeycomb and then you had what was it? It was
Jelly Bean.
No, it was ice cream sandwich at the time. I
yeah.
think. No, I'm totally messing it up.
Honeycomb was 3.3.
No, it was before that one. Whatever it was, you
Froyo.
I think it was Froyo as the 2 separate ones. The ice cream sandwich was supposed to bring them together, but even then. When you use tablets versus a phone, there's still some differences, but it's been getting less and less the further you've gone down.
Well, the thing is, I mean, okay, you got a tablet that doesn't have a removable battery. What does that matter? I mean, it's still fragmented.
No, you're right.
I totally understand it that they want to make phones kind of consolidated in terms of like processing power and stuff like that, or specs and storage or stuff like that. But I mean, it's a battery. No one cares.
No, you're absolutely right. And this was also something that that someone else had brought up that I was talking to you about this as well. But it's also when you have a phone that has a removable back, it has to be made of plastic. Metal doesn't really work that well when you're doing that. Right. And a lot of people like having more metal components on phones. Whether or not the entire thing is made of metal or it's accented with metal, metal tends to be the, obviously, particularly aluminum, because I don't think anyone wants anything heavier than that and, on a phone. But metal is a more premium, feel. And it's much harder to have that as a removable back because now you're, it's much harder to have, 2 pieces of metal sliding up against each other and not damaging the components, And if you have metal going into plastic, there causes some damage there. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but this is just something that me and a buddy of mine were talking about. And I mean, I see where the complaints can be made for that, but honestly, to me, the only thing that's important is that I am not a huge... I don't care if the battery can be taken out or not. That's not a huge thing for me. The thing I do not like is when I prefer to have all my memory on board. I don't like having an SD card on my phone. That's just a personal preference for me because I had bad experiences with my first phone when I would try to transfer things between my SD card, and my SD card has failed on me several times with that phone. So it was just It was just a personal preference for me that I don't like it.
Yeah, for me, I like the fact that I can use an external storage, that I can use the micro SD. For a lot of phones, I've seen them, like if you have an external SD or micro SD or whatever, it basically, it's like sticking out the sides sometimes. Like on my tablet, it does that.
Yeah, I don't like that. Like
it's really annoying because I can accidentally hit that and, oh, whoops, whatever you had on your SD card you can't access now, or if you were writing to it or something like that, it's not corrupted.
Like now you're screwed. You know, like I think if you're gonna have an SD card, it should be flush with the device. It should not be protruding.
Right. For my S4, for those who have Galaxy S devices, it's underneath the battery cover. So you're never going to be touching it unless you're fiddling underneath there.
But then the problem also becomes, is it because I've seen phones that do this, where they have the SD card slot, you actually have to remove the battery to get to it.
No.
Yours doesn't do that.
No, in the Galaxy S4, it has the battery easy to remove cover, but it has the micro SD card and the SIM. To get the
SIM makes sense for it to be like that, but I've seen some...
Yeah, the SIM you have to take the battery out to get to the SIM card.
Yeah, because obviously you're not going to be taking out the SIM while the phone's on. That's how you mess things up.
Right, so they made the SD card accessible when the phone, no matter whether the phone is on or off or the battery's in or whatever. So...
Yeah, but it's nice that it's underneath the cover.
You know, now that I took my case off, it feels so weird to have my phone out.
Oh no, that's such a weird thing too. Like I take off my cover from iPhone, and it's the one thing I always forget too, is that because it's made of metal, it's so slippery.
Oh yeah.
Like comparatively,
like mine
it's incredibly slippery. Yeah,
mine's
like
not
this,
as bad.
Yeah, it's a much better grip on it because plastic tends to have a much better grip. But this is all metal. Like I could easily,
And haven't you dropped it a couple times?
Oh yeah, there are a ton of like dents on the edges of it. Honestly, I've seen people with worse scratches on their phones.
Yeah,
mine's not too bad. Because mostly I've kept a case on it 90% of the lifespan I've had this phone.
Yeah.
It's also my original one. I have never gotten another one. So I've had this literal same phone for almost 2 years now. So, and I don't plan on getting rid of it either. Once I get my upgrade, this just becomes my music player, pretty much. So, but yeah, but it's something, it's kind of strange that that there are certain phones that conform to Google's weird standards that they want, because I know one of the biggest things was that they didn't want on like front buttons, like how at the bottom of this that there's the touch buttons for the back and the home screen. They want everything to be on screen buttons. And like they absolutely hate the fact that that Samsung has the front home button.
Yeah, well, you know what? I like my front home button.
I've never really been for or against it. Like I've never had problem with on-screen buttons. So
for me with on-screen buttons, the only problem that I have is I'm not always 100% certain when I hit them. Like the touch buttons for back and home, like the menu button on Samsung is sometimes it's a little finicky and it's like, did I hit it or did I miss it or?
Well, no, that's the one thing that I like about the on-screen buttons, because it gives you an actual visible indication that you pressed it. Like it glows when you touch it. Like when it's touch buttons like this, it's not quite the same. You just have to kind of hope that you hit the right button. So, but I don't know, because the other thing is too is that they that obviously the onboard battery. They don't want you to be able to open up your case, I guess. And also they don't want SD card support. Like they don't.
That's what really bugs me though. If I had a choice between a removable battery or an external SD, take away the removable battery. I don't really care about that. Except when my phone freezes and I have to take the battery out to reset it.
No, you're absolutely right.
So it's really handy, but that doesn't happen often.
No.
The thing is, though, if the amount of storage that they give you internal on a phone is so small, usually.
Not usually. I usually find it's 32 tends to be the standard. And I mean, what are you putting on your phone? You're going to use up 32 gigs.
The S4 is 16.
Oh,
and I have a 16.
Well, the default one for this one was 32. That was the only way I could get this one. So.
I have a 64 gigs micro SD card, but I have like all my music, and it's like 6 gigs.
Yeah.
I have a movie or two here and there, so it's like I have stuff on here that I would not want to have on my internal storage. But it's also things like pictures and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, even with the amount of pictures that I take on my phone, I still end up with, on average, between 10 to 7 gigs left over, like just free space. With all the apps and all the games and all the music and all the pictures that I've taken. I don't put movies really on my phone. That's more for my tablet. I like my Nexus 7 for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, even with that, I still have, a decent amount of storage left over. Mm-hmm. And also I think the reason why yours came in 16 was because it has the capability, to do that.
Which I got my micro SD, my 64 gig micro SD for like $15. Yeah, it was like a deal on Amazon. So
yeah,
but like I've used 20 gigs of my SD card already, and I only have I have almost 4 gigs on my phone. Mm-hmm. So it's like. Like miscellaneous files, 7 gigs, and that's all OS.
Yeah, I think they should allow you to they should always give you the option for the SD card, but never force you to. Mm-hmm. So I think they should just make 32 the standard. Like that's the lowest you can get for phones, because honestly, I think a majority of people are not going to be using 32 gigs worth of space on their phones anyway. Unless you're a really big photo or video taker, I don't think you're gonna be using that amount of storage.
Yeah, generally not, but what can you do?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we blew up the factory, by the way. Back to the game. We blew up the factory. We got knocked over.
I was watching the level the entire time, and I'm like, this is a little boring.
It is sometimes, but we did.
Wow.
that was a really sickening crunch noise. Notice how we were on the right-hand side, but now we're on the left-hand side, and we could grab that, and we're in that vehicle.
Base, this is Eva. Set the tunnel charges to blow. I don't care who's inside. We have to stop bomb.
Look into the camera, Eva. Oh, we have less than 2 minutes. We have a weird minute and 40 seconds to get through. And this car doesn't even have machine guns. It's just like explosive shells on a cannon.
Why are all these cars just armed like this?
I don't know. It's just so weird. And this level really has no actual obstacles. You just kind of got to drive through the level. It's very straight, and there's not really much room to mess up. Except for that. Doing this little back up forward thing, that reminds me of the Austin Powers.
Oh yeah.
Oh damn, I'm stuck.
That's great. I want there to be another one.
Honestly, it was good while it lasted, but I really don't.
I just want there to be another one, just so we can get those jokes of him, seeing all the new things that have come out in the last, 10 years since.
But how would it make sense? I mean, he wasn't frozen anymore, and to be honest, him being frozen from the 60s to the early 2000s, that's much bigger of an impact than what it is from 2000 to now.
No, I know. But I would like that.
He gets frozen back in carbonate. Frozen again.
He wakes up in the future.
Like in 2050 or something?
It's 2069 is when he wakes up.
Yeah.
100 years after the first time he was frozen.
Oh, jeez. Austin Powers notices twerking for the first time. So,
oh god.
Yeah. So we got another level unlocked, so we'll see you guys next time with more From Russia with Love. See ya.
We promise to be on topic.